Ladies and gentlemen, our next inductee is regarded by generations of fans who saw him in action as quite simply the most gifted St Johnstone football player they've ever clapped eyes on. He was an integral part of Willie Ormond's legendary team which reached the 1969 League Cup final, losing 1-0 to Jock's Celtic side that was still packed with Lisbon Lions. He sparkled in the club's first ever foray into Europe when the scalps included Hamburg, and the record books credit Muirton's golden boy with 2 UEFA Cup goals. His 133 matches between 1968 and 1972 yielded 55 goals. Typically, he scored in his debut. Signed from Glasgow United, when he left for Everton, the Perth bank balance was boosted by £75,000, and bear in mind this was more than 40 years ago. His touch, his vision, his graceful movement and penalty box prowess made him Jeff Brown's favourite ever St Johnstone player. The club history manifest destiny recalls that his left foot was so educated it might have performed brain surgery. So it's a no-brainer to welcome this man to the Hall of Fame this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, John Connolly.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, John.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Congratulations.
Right. Here we go.
Well, John, if we start, I think the 1969 League Cup final is as good a place as any to start. It was the first time St Johnstone had ever reached a National Cup final, and you were playing against a decent team, it has to be said. But I was at the game, and I seem to recall you should have won.
Well, it was a very tight game. 1-0 was the result, obviously, to Celtic. I think anybody that went to the match would agree it was a very close game. And as you said, we were playing against a team that was world class at the time, and probably the best Celtic team ever. And very old scored in I think it was the first 2 minutes. And my wee strike partner, Henry, who's in the audience somewhere there, had a chance in the first minute. Which unfortunately Henry didn't put it away that day, but we know all the other goals he scored for the club over the years. But over the piece, yeah, I think we were maybe unlucky on the day.
And other big games that would stand out in your memory, the Hamburg one, I think the club history says that was possibly your best ever game in a St Johnstone jersey.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Hamburg at that time were a giant Bundesliga club. I think the Uwe Seeler, Willie Schultz, a lot of the audience won't have heard of them, but they played in the World Cup the year before against England in 1966. And to be playing against guys of that calibre and a club, as I say, that was a giant in the Bundesliga at that time, and to beat them 3-0 at home was absolutely brilliant, yeah.
And I think there was a bit of a fright when you went away from home. I mean, that beating Hamburg was quite extraordinary. I mean, it features, I think now probably is possibly the best ever result, bar maybe a cup final of 2014 in the club history. But, I mean, you had your adventures on the road there. There was a bit of a scare, I think, coming back from Sarajevo after one of the games.
Yeah, well, the Hamburg one, first, as I say, a fantastic result for the club. We went over there and they beat us 2-1 over there. I better watch, my wife's in the audience tonight there, obviously. So
I was going to actually ask, because I've asked an awful lot of players of that Willie Ormond team about the delights of Hamburg back in the 60s. And I think the word that the mafia use is omerta, like there's this code of silence, and nobody has yet blabbed to me, even when they've had a small refreshment.
Well, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you everything. But after the result that night, we thought it was a great result, losing 2-1, but we got the away goal. We all went down to see what the Reaper Band was all about.
Yeah, sightseeing.
Which you would do, because, you know, if you go to Amsterdam, you do the same type of thing. So here we were, and we were all bouncing down the street, and because we're a team that always gel together, always party together. In fact, we come up here every year for a reunion in October time. The ones that are left with the club, left that played at that time. And I always remember we were into all the beer kellers, and the pints were about 3.5 pints high, and we're all drinking them. And Lambie was up giving the old band, he had the orchestra thing, and he was conducting the band and stuff like that. So it was a fantastic time, and as I say, they were a fantastic bunch of boys to play with as well.
That's good, because that sounds like Lucerne, but the players that were taking part in the celebrations, Lucerne had broken a curfew. I mean, what about back in those days? Does Willie Ormond, was he a strict manager, or did he liked a small refreshment himself, basically?
Willie liked a drink, there's no doubt about that. Funny enough, one of the chaps at our table, he was just talking about it, how the last time I met Willie was in Dures of Perth, which didn't surprise me at all. And during the time when we played, there was an award, the Bell's Whiskey Award, and it used to be a big, a gallon bottle type thing. And sort of halfway through the promotion, they decided, no, we can't keep running with this. We're going to have to stop it. And Willie had been given his for that Manager of the Month that month. And Willie says, "I'm not getting it back off me because it's already drunk."
The thing I liked about Willie Ormond was the stories was that he held his press conferences in the wee cottage out at Dures, so there was drink on tap all morning, so that must have been a right good press conference or two. But on the football front, you're one of the few St Johnstone players to have played in the Bernabeu Stadium against Real Madrid. Yes. What do you remember of that?
Well, what I remember is the season was finished, so we were all away, basically broke up play, out of training, and we got this phone call. All the players were getting phoned round and saying, "Look, you need to get back into training. We've got a friendly arranged." And we, a friendly? 2 weeks after we're out of training, what's this all about? Who is it? Who are we playing? Say Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. We couldn't believe it, and what it was all about was Real Madrid were playing Chelsea in the Cup Winners' Cup final 2 weeks later, and they wanted to play against a British side. So we went over there 2 weeks out of training. I think it was 1-1 with about 15 minutes to go, and they beat us 3-1 on the night. But that shows you the calibre of the team I was playing with at that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Connolly.